With this timeline, we're going to review all the major changes to Bitcoin up to date and some you may have never heard of. Kicking things off, we're going to start back in mid-2010 when Bitcoin was still very new. Developers added several no operation or NOP instructions. Think of these op-nop 1 through to op-nop 10 codes as labeled blank spaces in Bitcoin's rulebook. They didn't actually do anything when they were added, but putting there reserved a space. This meant future features could be added later on by giving these NOPs a job, usually through a soft fork update that didn't require everyone to update instantly. It was smart planning for the future. The next soft fork was in August of 2010. A serious bug labeled CVE 2010-5139 was found. It could let someone trick the network into creating practically unlimited Bitcoins out of thin air, a value overflow. If widely used, it could have destroyed Bitcoin's value. Thankfully, Satoshi and the early developers reacted incredibly quickly, releasing a fix within hours. This fix tightened up the rules for checking transactions, slamming the door on the bug. It was a vital early test that showed Bitcoin could survive even dangerous flaws. Around the same time, in late 2010, Satoshi Nakamoto added the now well-known 1 megabyte size limit to Bitcoin blocks. Blocks like pages in Bitcoin's shared ledger added roughly every 10 minutes. This limit capped how much transaction data could fit on each new page. It was originally put in place as a temporary measure to stop spam attacks from flooding the network. Nobody knew this temporary limit would become one of the most debated topics in Bitcoin's history, leading to years of arguments about scaling and eventually major network splits. Jumping to April 2012, pay-to-script hash introduced by BIP16 made using complex Bitcoin features much easier. Before pay-to-script hash, if you wanted to use something like a multi-sig, the sender needed to know all the complex script details. Now you could create a special address starting with 3 that represented these complex conditions but looked simple to the sender. The receiver handled the complexity when spending. This made things like a multi-sig wallets far more practical and private. Activated in early 2013, block height in Coinbase BIP34 might sound technical, but it was a useful housekeeping update. It made a rule that miners had to include the current block number, its height, in the chain, inside a special Coinbase transaction where they collect their mining reward and fees. This simple change helped prevent certain rare problems with duplicate transaction IDs and generally made the blockchain data a bit more tidy and reliable. March 2013 was a stressful time for Bitcoin with an upgrade to the software's underlying database that caused unexpected conflicts. Different parts of the network running old and new software started building 2 separate versions of the blockchain history. For several hours, the chain was split. This wasn't planned, it was a serious bug. It took urgent communication between miners and developers worldwide to agree on which chain history was correct and abandon the other one. It showed the community could work together to resolve a crisis. Strict DR encoding for signatures BIP66. Every Bitcoin transaction needs a digital signature. Before this 2015 update, there were very few ways a signature format could be changed without making it invalid. This malleability could sometimes change the transaction to ID before it was confirmed, causing issues. BIP66 fixed this by requiring a strict DR encoding, essentially saying the signature must follow this exact format, no minor variations allowed. This improved reliability and was a step towards fully fixing the transaction malleability. CheckLockTimeVerify BIP65. You imagine wanting to send Bitcoin that can't be spent until a certain date or after a certain number of blocks have passed. That's what CLTV enabled. This instruction gave developers the tool to create timed lock transactions. You could set up a payment that only becomes available in the future directly on the blockchain. It was a building block for more advanced Bitcoin scripts. Following CLTV, CheckSequenceVerify or CSV arrived in mid-2016. While CLTV uses fixed future dates of block numbers, CSV introduced relative time locks. This means you could lock funds based on how long it's been since the funds arrived. For example, don't spend until 100 blocks after this input was confirmed. This seemingly small difference was actually vital for designing advanced payment channels, laying key groundwork for layer 2 networks like Lightning. Off to the side, we do see Bitcoin Cash. This was back in August of 2017. It was a major turning point. After years of heated arguments about how to best scale Bitcoin for more users, a split actually happened. One group strongly believed the original 1 megabyte block size limit was holding Bitcoin back and needed a direct increase. They initiated a user-activated hard fork, essentially copying Bitcoin's history up to that moment and starting a new separate blockchain and cryptocurrency known as Bitcoin Cash. This began with a larger 8 megabyte block limit size. This was the first big contentious split in Bitcoin's history. Just weeks after the Bitcoin Cash split, the original Bitcoin chain activated its own long-planned scaling upgrade, Segregated Witness or SegWit. It was a clever soft fork that rearranged transaction data, moving the signature information to a separate section. This fixed the remaining transaction malleability problems and allowed more transactions to fit into blocks, effectively increasing capacity without raising the 1 megabyte base limit. And very importantly, it helped enable the development of layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network. The eventful year of 2017 continued in October with another hard fork creating Bitcoin Gold. This time, the main goal wasn't about block size, but mining decentralization. Supporters felt that the expensive specialized ASIC mining hardware made it too hard for regular users to participate. Bitcoin Gold changed the mining algorithm to EcoHash, which was designed to be better suited for mining with standard computer graphics cards, hoping it would make mining accessible again. Fast forward to late 2021 for Bitcoin's biggest upgrade in years, Taproot. This wasn't just one change, but a package of powerful features together as a soft fork. It brought us Schnorr signatures, which are more efficient and offer better privacy options than the older signature type. It also introduced the Taproot structure itself, which cleverly makes complex transactions like multi-sig or Lightning channel setups look like simple, everyday payments on the blockchain themselves. The result? Better privacy, potentially lower fees, and a big boost for Bitcoin's smart contract abilities, a major step forward. Now, the last two that I'm going to talk about, OpCat and OpCTV, they actually haven't been introduced yet. If you want to signal your support and sign a message, head to whatthefork.wtf, where the Bitcoin developers can see how many people are actually interested in these upgrades. Looking into OpCat, you imagine Bitcoin scripts had the simple power of sticking two pieces of data together, like combining hello and world into hello world. This instruction actually existed in Bitcoin's early days, but was later turned off by Satoshi due to concerns about potential attacks. Now there's serious work being done to explore bringing back OpCat safely. This simple concatenate function could unlock powerful features like covenants, rules about how coins can be spent later, and secure vaults. Now, the last one on our timeline is OpCTV CheckTemplateVerify BIP 119. It's another exciting potential upgrade for Bitcoin. Think of it like attaching a spending contract or a template to your Bitcoin. This template would strictly control exactly how those coins must be spent in the very next transaction, maybe limiting where they can go or forcing certain details. This ability to create covenants or pre-agreed spending rules could be very useful for building ultra-secure vaults, setting up complex payment plans, making payment channels work better, or even helping manage network fees during busy time. Like OpCat, OpCTV needs community agreement and thorough testing before it could be potentially activated via a soft fork. That is all the opcodes and forks we're going to be discussing today, but if you want to show your support for potential future upgrades like OpCat and OpCTV, head to whatthefork.wtf and sign a message there.